Okay, what are you working on?
I'm working on a VO box. That's what I call it. That's me talking. Let's add the rubber bands. And don't forget the microphone thingy.
This plan, top view, is where we use the 2x4 panels, so it's 4 feet across. No, it's 2 feet across and 4 feet tall. And if we put a hinge here, a 2x4 here, or like a 2x1 with hinges, so that these two surfaces can come together, and then this panel would fold around the back, and this panel would fold around the back, and then that all should be able to fold up into one.
Look, I shaded this thing.
2x4 panel.
Look, I shaded.
Very good. And then for the ceiling, we're going to use a piece of cardboard. Here's the folded up version.
Really good, right?
Yeah, not bad. I think
Put a like on this video.
Put a like on this video. And then for the ceiling, we're going to put foam on a piece of cardboard, and the cardboard will just rest on top. So this is our proof of concept. I already had 2 of these panels, and I had some hinges that I bought.
Hi.
And there's Ellie. And so what we have going on here is we have a hinge on the inside where we put the screws so that they can fold together. So fold this panel together and let's see what happens. Right, and then the sound foam will be on the outside. And it'll be able to fold inward like that. So that's pretty good. What do you think of the height? If you're sitting in that chair behind you, that would work.
Yeah, but what if you get up and you bonk your head? Ah, that could hurt.
So we have nice big panels of cardboard that we're going to use, so that will be good. And that'll be the roof. So if you bump your head in it, it won't hurt. Okay, so what I'm learning right now is that 4 panels is not going to do it because the chair is so wide. So what we could do is we could do like this, have another panel here and here, and then maybe for the front, we'll just drape a blanket over the top. So a little change of plan, but I think we could stay with the original design and we could still do this. Okay, here's our redrawn concept. So instead of going all the way around, it now covers 3/4 of the chair, and then we're gonna have just a piece of board on top with like blankets or some kind of sound absorbing blanket in the front. So then the person would sit in the chair facing this way, and then the blanket would allow them to get in and out easily. And then this goes around the chair. There's our 2x1, so that when these 2 panels fold in with the foam on the inside, they could fold in together. And then the other 2 panels don't need that because they're going to be on the outside. What I have learned is that we need locking washers because I don't think anything's going to hold these nuts on. So we need to have a locking washer that will keep tension on the nut so the nuts don't fall out. So let's fold these panels together. The heads are up against each other. This isn't coming together as tightly as I thought it would. We can either stagger the heads of the screws, but that would mean that one side would have 1 screw and the other side would have 2 screws. Would that be enough? I did actually put 1 on one side and 2 on the other, and you can see it comes together very nicely. And I think that might be enough. I think 1 screw on one side is not going to be a problem if we have that locking washer. Okay, so I did a very simple drawing here to determine how much hardware we need. So there are 2 hinge points here, 1, 2 that are identical. And that is going to be the pegboard with just the hinge in the middle. And we decided to stagger the bolts. So how many do we need, Ellie? There's 3 hinges, so we have 3 hinges, and then we have 3 bolts per hinge. So 3 times 3 is?
9.
9 bolts. And then we have 2 of these because we have 1, 2. So these numbers get multiplied times 2 because we have 2 of them. And then this is the one in the middle. This is a piece of wood in the middle. That's a 2x1 piece of wood. And then we're going to use the wood screws. Which one are the wood screws, Ellie? That's those, right? We're going to use the wood screws that came with the hinges, so we don't really need to get those because those already come with the hinges. And we need hinges, 3 on each side, times 2. So 2 times 3 is 6 hinges. And then we're going to do 2 bolts because we don't have to stagger the bolts this time. So we're just going to do one at the top and one at the bottom. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 bolts. So we need 30 bolts and 12 hinges. We're off to Home Depot! Yay!
We're at Home Depot. We're here to get 8.
This is how you arrive at the Home Depot in style. Okay, we're in the nuts and bolts section. Ellie is looking for the number 10, 24 by half. 10 by half. Is it a round head? Is it a round head? Yes.
Round head combo.
All right, this is our round head.
And we need
number 10, 24 by half an inch.
Right?
What is a lock washer?
A lock washer is a circle thingy.
And it's kind of split, right?
Yeah.
It's got like a little split.
Why don't we get both? Why don't we get 2?
Okay, so you see that little split? That creates a little bit of force on the washer to keep it locked. So that's a lock washer. We're off to the pegboard. So here we are at the 2x4 pegboard. Okay, Ellie, get them down. Okay, we have completed our first panel, or our first 2 panels. You can see we got the staggered screw design so that the 2 can fold together, and hopefully, so I did like 2 here on one on the left, and then I did 1 on the left, so I'm trying to stagger the hinge support, and then the locking nut. That locking nut ought to keep it tight so that it doesn't come apart. They come together very tightly because the 2 screws don't bump into each other. And now that I look at it, I'm realizing I wanted to have the foam on the brown side, and the way I put it together is I have the foam on the white side. So I need to take this apart and redo it. Some of the things I've learned is hinges actually have 2 sides. You can see there's one with the loop in it and one without the loop. And you want to be consistent with which side has the loop and which side doesn't have the loop. So I managed to do that wrong a few times and then fix that. And then here I've already started the middle board. So this is the middle board. And the whole purpose of the middle board is when I fold this up completely, this is going to come against this. And since the foam is on the outside, that's going to work out really well. But because there's foam on this side, I need this as a divider to separate the 2 halves so that the 2 foams can come together. Okay, here goes Ellie. She's going to put in the last screw and the last hinge. What do you think, Ellie? Pretty cool? Where are you?
I'm right here.
There you are. So this is kind of a proof of concept at this point. We haven't put the foam panels on. We'll do that tomorrow. This is the outside. There's the board in the middle. And there's our model. This is our sound voiceover model. Can you sit normal, like you normally sit? We're gonna hot glue these tiles
Hot glue
on.
is the same thing as super glue.
No, they're very different.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so let me tell you what I've learned so far. I put down a few tiles, and what I've learned is you need a very good glue gun. I originally had this 15-watt glue gun, and this puts out like squirt, and that's just not gonna cut it. So you definitely want to get a high power. This is called a dual temp. So it has a low and a high, and then it's rated for 20 watts. So I guess 20 is the high. Not really sure. Maybe 15 is low, 20 is high. Don't know. But with this, I can get squirt. I can put down half the tile, let it heat up again, and then I could do the rest of the tile. Squirt. I got this 80 pack of glue sticks for $6. Glue sticks are cheap. No problem. Get 80, if not more. We'll see how that goes. 80 should get me through this project. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 per panel. 8 times 4 panels. That should be enough. Okay, I've completed one panel. It's taken a lot longer than I thought. And now I can test. That's actually going to work pretty well. So here's 3 out of 4. We're just going to kind of test our concept to make sure it's still working, because I'd hate to go.
It's really good. And it's very
Yeah.
fancy too. I'm the camera.
No, you're the VO talent.
No, I'm the camera.
Okay, how does it sound? Does it sound? Say something.
It is really good in here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we can bring this in.
And then
we can
our
bring
roof is
this
coming on a little
in.
bit later.
And then here's where my roof idea, where is it? Here it is. And then this goes on top, like that.
But where's the
And
roof
then
going to be?
I'm gonna put some kind of sound absorbing blanket, like maybe a mover's blanket or something. We'll attach it here, coming down in the
But
front.
what about here?
And then on the roof, we're gonna cut a piece of cardboard, and we're gonna put some of the foam on the inside of the cardboard and put that on top.
Yeah.
So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna staple gun this onto the wood board.
Here, have a story of the glue stick family.
All right, here's my sheet of cardboard, staple gunned. And then for this, I only did 4 corners. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 blob in the middle. Okay, this is where we are now. There we are, we have a roof. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how it all came out. Here's the final product. And
You see that Daddy said he would put a blanket here?
yeah, I did put a blanket there. Show them the ceiling. Show them the ceiling. Wow, look at the ceiling.
I wanted to do the ceiling.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, so have a seat.
I'm the camera.
You are not a camera.
I am a camera. I'm the
You're not a
camera
camera.
person. I want to tell you the story how I learned how to ride a bike.
That's great. So let's just close the blanket.
Can you still hear me
then-
down here?
And then, so this is what it looks like with the blanket closed.
Wait.
Yay! And so there you go. Here's some other things I did.
Ouch.
For example, like I just got this industrial blanket and just hung it. There's I just put some nails up there, and the blanket has grommets. So whenever I need to record something, I just put that up, and it basically absorbs all the reflections in
Can
the
I
room.
do the story?
So the room becomes a little deader.
Once upon a time, me and my daddy I wanted to learn how to ride a bike. So me and my daddy went to learn how to ride a bike. Next day, already known. And then today, we already,
There you go. So what do you think of the VO booth, Ellie?
I'm in the middle of the story. And
There's the
I
ceiling.
was so scared I stopped with my feet on the ground. And then I scraped myself, almost fell into the other lane. And then we kept on going because I didn't feel it anymore. And then I went into a car, and then I went into a wall, and then I was like, that's a lot of hurts.
Yeah, that is a lot of hurts.
So I'm now half a heart. I'm gonna go home now.